morning, everyone. Morning. What a packed crowd. Oh my goodness. You all have shown up for one of our local favorites. We're really excited to have BJ Griffin here today. I'm Kate Pittman. I'm the executive director of the Vibe Creative District, but part of our 6-member team that is helping pull off Creative Mornings Virginia Beach, and we're so thankful for you all to come out and support the local creative community this morning. Our theme this morning is trust, and the fun part of the volunteer committee is getting to decide who would be the best speaker on each topic. And these are global themes that are set by the master chapter, and so we get a list of global themes and we get to think about people. And so what I'm really enjoying is finding speakers who fit a theme that is maybe not what would be expected from the general public. We all know BJ as a really amazing local musician, but he's been on a personal journey about trusting himself that he's shared with me, and so I'm so happy that he's willing to share that with all of you today. So there are 238 chapters all around the world. So we want to remind people of that every month. You are connected to a network now. There are so many resources for you online that you are welcome to go view for free now that you are part of this. 69 countries, that's over 27,000 attendees a month. So you're a part of something very, very big and worldwide. We want you to bring a friend. So I can tell we're growing. We started out with just a couple dozen people, and each month our goal is to fill this space and outgrow it and find a new home. So we're excited to see a packed house all the way back to the door. So thank you all. Please invite your friends. And online you can find field trips. So if you can't make a Creative Mornings, don't forget we film all of them. So you can always catch them after the fact. We go live, you can watch it on Facebook, but you can also go online and watch other programs that are happening all over the country and all over the world. So here's our team. Again, I'm Kate Pittman. Robert Fiveash is in the back here with Brand Fuel. Thank you for the mugs, Robert. We've got Tessa Hall Duquette, who's on a family vacation now. This is her beautiful space, the garage. We have Sunny Peoples, who's on our Arts and Humanities Commission. She couldn't be here today, but she's been doing a great job with us lately. Rachel Jaffe is teaching an art class this morning and couldn't be here. But Albert is on video. Thank you, Albert, for being here. We have Val also, who's going to be helping out. She's in the black jumpsuit right here. Sorry, I forgot where you went. And then local artist Cassidy as well. So if you all are interested in getting involved, please reach out and we'll try to find a good job for you. It takes a small village to pull this off every month. Okay, without any further ado, I'm going to invite Val up here to introduce our very accomplished speaker.
BJ Griffin was born in Detroit near Hitsville, the home of Motown. He's a multifaceted artist and entrepreneur with passions for music and free diving. After relocating to Virginia Beach at 5 years old, BJ began playing violin and cello in public schools and was actively involved in the Virginia Youth Symphony Orchestra. His talent led to performances on national and international stages as far away as China and Greece. BJ studied music education, cello performance, and the music industry at James Madison University, where he also started his singing career with an a cappella group called Exit 245. After college, he moved to New York City, working as a freelance cellist and teaching at Interlochen Arts Camp in Michigan. In 2011, BJ returned to Hampton Roads, becoming a key figure in the local music scene and co-founding Galaxy Music, a private music school. He and his bands BJ Griffin and the Galaxy Groove have performed together for more than a decade, captivating audiences with their dynamic shows. He has supported artists like Lionel Richie, Miss Lauryn Hill, and Erykah Badu, has appeared on America's Got Talent, and is currently working on a debut album. As CEO of Big Juicy Entertainment, BJ nurtures and supports artists across various genres and serves on the boards of the Academy of Music and the Vibe Creative District. During the pandemic, he discovered the healing power of diving, becoming certified in both scuba and free diving. Now a master free diver and assistant diving instructor, he has trained with elite instructors around the world and gained a following on social media, challenging stereotypes as a Black and plus-sized influencer. BJ co-founded Dive for Peace, promoting inner peace and wellness through free diving. As a certified sound healer, he uses frequency through his voice and other instruments to enhance the healing found while in the water. Overcoming a rare cancer and multiple car accidents, BJ uses his multiple platforms to spread a message of mental health awareness and self-love, inspiring and uplifting people worldwide through his diverse talents and infectious energy. So without further ado, BJ Griffin.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Hello, everyone. I must say I'm used to singing, so I'm a little bit nervous today. But I was talking to my father yesterday, my family, about what I was doing today, and I said, Dad, I'm so used to just singing, and I have to talk. He's like, well, why don't you just sing? I was like, good idea, Dad. So I'm going to break the ice with one of my songs. The song is called Hold On. Breathe, release what you don't need. We are free. Be who you be. So easy, it's so easy. You just got to hold on when you feel like hope is gone. The strength will come along. It might seem you can't go on. Just hold on. Thank you. Okay, now I'm ready. Thank you so much. Thank you to Creative Mornings and Kate for inviting me up here. Thanks for the vibe. Thanks for this beautiful space. And thank you for coming here. This energy. It's the biggest crowd we've had yet. I'm like, yay! Let's go. Let's keep building. So the first thing I want to talk about, which button do I push, Kate? Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, that's me. The first thing I want to say is namaste. It means so much to me. I feel this so deeply. The meaning for me is the light in me recognizes the light in you. And today I want to talk about the journey, my journey of finding this light that we're talking about. For me, it's the process of shedding all the layers of things that we're taught, things that we tell ourselves that may not be true, and all the work that goes into that has been my life's purpose so far. And it's the deeper meaning to everything that I do, music, diving, anything you see. It's really just working on this. It's so hard to really talk about what I mean and what I really mean in a 30-second diving video or a 90-minute show. So I'm so grateful for this space to go a little bit deeper. So are y'all ready to deep dive? Yes. So today, the one word that I've been given is trust. And that actually encompasses so much of what I have to work on for this deeper meaning. When Kate asked me to speak about this, and I was like, I got this. This is gonna be cool. Then I realized, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to get vulnerable. This is gonna be, I might cry. We'll see. No. But for me, it's the one word that embodies all of the energy to point in the right direction. It takes a deep dive into the conscious mind and the subconscious mind to figure out, how to figure out life. Some of you know me, and I'm not really into small talk. I like to go deep really quick. So instead of saying hello, how are you? What I'd like to ask everybody today is, what color do you feel? So right now, we're gonna do a little experiment. I'd like everybody to take 30 seconds. Close your eyes or open your eyes, whatever you feel comfortable with. Take a deep breath in your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And I want you to close your eyes and visualize a color. Okay, now you can open your eyes. So, what color did you feel? Let's do an experiment. How many people felt blue? Awesome, awesome. Okay, red, any reds? Greens? Yellows? My favorite color, yes. Well, okay, now everybody ask yourself, did you trust the color you feel? How does that make you feel? How does that color make you feel? Do you trust that color? We're all capable of harnessing the deep observations to figure out, what trust is. And that's something I do all the time. And people say, how you doing? I'm like, what color you feeling today? So for me, the journey has been something I learned called the golden thread. Following the golden thread. In Greek mythology, Ariadne gives Theseus a ball of golden thread to guide him through this labyrinth. And for me, the golden thread is a metaphor for the soul's process of finding the deeper self. It's all about psychological development and trusting this process, and that everything that you encounter is meant for you, and everything you learn and all the challenges are something you grow from. For me, it's transmitting everything into love and learning, no matter what you go through, really. Trust, this process leads to trust, which leads to stillness. So stillness, for me, is the catalyst with trust. And so I want to talk about the first time I encountered stillness. I was thinking back to when I was a kid and when did I first really feel it? So I was on a trip to Niagara Falls with my family when I was about 10 years old. And we were going on the Maid of the Mist. Has anybody been to Niagara Falls? So cool. It's so cool. And I was like a rambunctious kid, of course. And I remember, being all crazy all the time, and then all of a sudden, I literally used to do cartwheels down the mall, and my parents used to have a leash on me. It was crazy. But so I remember being at Niagara Falls and going under the waterfall, getting close to it, the Maid of the Mist, and then the mist came, and then there was this tranquil feeling with all the mist, and I couldn't see anybody, but then the world went away, and there was this calm, and that was the first time I really felt this thing that I'm talking about today, this stillness that nowadays I really look for, and I hold on to that to heal, and that was the first time I felt it. And here's a picture of me in Niagara Falls. So cute. That was before the mist, Yeah, it was around that time, actually, 10 years old is when I first started playing music. And so I'll talk about my journey a little bit. This is a picture of me and my best friends in China, actually, one of our trips with the orchestra. But I started playing music in 5th grade, strings, here in Virginia Beach, public schools. And we started on my family violin, actually. I'll show you. Everybody in my family started playing the violin on this family heirloom.
Wow.
My grandmother, my aunts, my cousins, and eventually my sisters, and I have it now. I'm waiting to give it to my kids one day. And I remember being in 5th grade and feeling this stillness feeling again when we would have to practice playing open strings, and that was something I want to play it for you today. That's all you play. And so I got used to that, and I was pretty pragmatic even as a kid, and I would just play it over and over and over and over, and then I would feel this calm and this tranquil effect again, and I just loved it. I got addicted to it as a child, and I would just keep playing it. And later on, when I went to study sound therapy, I realized that the strings are tuned in Pythagorean tuning, which, I'm gonna get a little technical today. It's from G to D. That's a 5th, and I used to play the open strings. My mom would get so annoyed with me. Anytime I got mad about anything, I would just play my instrument. And I realized it was therapy, because the frequency of the 5th actually in the brain it connects the hemispheres of the brain. And I was like, oh my goodness, I was a sound healer even in the beginning. So I just remember even like growing up, like getting mad at my mom or anytime I was upset about anything, I would go practice. And I didn't realize that it was a form of self-therapy, and it was healing. I studied music all through grade school, and ended up going to JMU and studying and then being a cappella. And after JMU, I studied at Interlochen. I taught at Interlochen, and I remember like being so different there, and arguing with some of the staff about performance practice, and I kind of got tired of just doing one type of music. So I started singing and playing at the same time, and kind of pushing the boundaries of everything, which led me to playing in New York, and then I ended up coming back home and teaching in the public schools, and then doing open mics around here, and just building a career from there. And it's been such an amazing journey, and thinking about all the ways I had to trust myself to go through that, because it was very difficult. Even after opening up for the people like Lionel Richie and Lauryn Hill, and starting the management company, there was juggling so much. And I remember back in 2014, I started to get sick and didn't really know what was going on. I was on tour, and went to Vanderbilt University because I was sick, and they were like, we don't know what's wrong with you. So every time I would go to a new doctor, they would say, we don't know. And then finally, I was getting a scan on my gallbladder because I had pain in my abdomen. I had crazy ghost pains all the time. Like I would be on stage, and nobody knew this for years, and only my band members. Even to this day, I haven't talked about it much. But I'd be on stage, and I would have to like turn around and like hold my heart, or like turn around, because I'm a performer. I'm gonna put the show on. The show must go on. I'm from a family of performers, and that's what we do, no matter what. But that created this underlying anxiety that I didn't know I had, and so I was getting a scan on my abdomen, and the technician goes, "Oh," and I was like, oh, "What was that?" And later on, they found a tumor on my kidney, and I was like, some doctors made me feel like I had a contract, like, nothing's wrong with you, sir, nothing's wrong. And I finally was like, they found something, and it turns out I had a rare form of kidney cancer, and it was affecting my renal system. And that was a crazy journey of not really understanding why, and so many different emotions, all the while, building my career, trying to be a performer, and not knowing how to express everything that was going on. And it led to so much angst and strife, and I didn't know what to do with it. And I ended up getting really low, and I actually ended up calling the suicide hotline about 2 weeks before my surgery to remove the cancer, because it just got so difficult. And that was probably the most important point. Oh goodness, no, I cried. That was the most important point in my life, to have that kind of resource. And I wanted to make sure to say this: if anyone needs help, please call 988. It's such an amazing resource, the Suicide Crisis Hotline, because it definitely saved my life. And it was the best thing I ever did, because it led me to mental health therapy, which I had been to counseling before, but to have someone on your side and someone to help you through the hardest things you're going through, it's like, whew. If you're in therapy, you know this, and if you're not, you should be, because it's just, everyone deserves that. Someone on your team that you can tell all your secrets and help you through these things. So that was literally the turning point for me in so many ways. And shout out to my therapist, Ashton Ralston, Consciousness Rising. She's just amazing. To this day, I still go. And it's a beautiful thing. So when I started going to therapy, and this is all the while still having this, I felt like I was living like two lives, because there was these parts of myself that I didn't know how to share, and then I'm a performer, and I'm seen in so many ways, and people look at me and they your perception of me is your perception, but then there's all these things that I started to learn about life, and how to go deep and how to really change and make the changes, and learning about the brain, studying Joe Dispenza, so many things. And I just wanted to share a couple of things that kind of expanded my awareness of my mental health and myself. One of the first things I started thinking about was Ikigai. Has anybody heard of Ikigai? Oh, it is so amazing. It's perfect for entrepreneurs and businessmen and creatives, just really balancing. If you haven't, I'm not going to go into it too much, but if you haven't, check that out because it can help you guide yourself in directions and figuring out how to put it all together, just balancing all the things of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for, and all the eccentricities that go with this helped me so much, all the while learning about the brain and how my brain works and all the things that I didn't know about myself. And then as that continued, it led to different things like diving. So in 2019, my girlfriend and I at the time, we drove, for some reason I was obsessed with this place in Florida called the Devil's Den. Has anybody ever been? Anybody ever heard of it? You've heard of it? Yeah, it's like this like prehistoric diving site. And it looks like this. And I saw it on, and I don't know, energetically, and I, all the while, all the struggles and all the creative things I'm doing, I'm always, tapping into trust and trying to let, God lead me and let the inner spirit lead me. And for some reason, I was obsessed with this. And whenever I'm obsessed with something, I can't help it. And I'm just like, okay, I'll go. So we drove all the way down 11 hours to Williston, Florida at this place. And it was one of the most magical experiences walking down into the cave. It's like a cave and a hole in the ground. And it's a spring. And the springs come from the aquifer from below the earth. It's fresh water. And we were diving in, and I remember the first time I dove in with my goggles, and I was just like, wow, this beautiful experience. But so many things happened at once that, I didn't really know what freediving was then. And it was just kind of like snorkeling. But then I actually got into freediving. I met one of my friends he was from Virginia Beach, but he had moved down to Florida, named Andrew DeSlover. And I was like, I think Andrew lives near here. So I called him. And he was a manatee tour guide captain down at Birds Underwater in Florida, and he took us out on the boat, and we started seeing all the manatees. But then he got certified in freediving, so he taught us how to freedive. He said, "This is what you do. You hold your breath, you go down," and it was just this magical experience, and I couldn't really explain it at first. I didn't have the words, but it just felt right. It felt like I was home. And eventually we started, during the pandemic, once things started opening up again, there were these $23 flights down to Florida from, yes. There were these $23 flights down to Florida from Virginia, and I literally would start flying every week to Florida. I would perform here on the weekends because there wasn't much going on for musicians then, and I was so grateful to have any kind of work. But I would perform here on the weekends, and I would go to Florida to dive. And then I would start inviting my friends to go down with me, and it became this community. And I started learning more. Eventually I got certified in scuba diving, and I got certified in free diving. And we always went to this place called Jenny Springs. And has anybody been to Jenny Springs? Oh, yes! So so yeah. And we started, my parents, they're so supportive. I love them so much. They bought me a GoPro. And I was like, okay, I guess I gotta use it now. So we started filming our dives, and this was the first. I'm gonna show you the first diving video that I ever did, and here, I'll show it for you. So I've gone live on Instagram, and I've been sharing, as a musician, I had already been, fluent to how to share on social media and everything. But I should share this. This is cool because there's so much intention in what I was doing with the diving. But I'm gonna tell you a little story about this video. It's my first diving video ever, but there was so much going on in this video because I was still kind of new to diving. I shared this video and it goes viral, much because most people have only seen, smaller, non-black people diving. And so, I was a plus size black diver and I'm just diving and it went viral and I was like, okay, this is cool. But what people don't know about this video is I didn't really know what was going on, and at the end when you see me blow out air, that's not good, actually. I got water in my nose. And so this video, there's so much going on, and most of my diving buddies, they were like, okay, that's cool though. And, but I was so grateful to share that because there was no representation of people like me doing this sport in any way. And since I had already been doing it, it was just such good encouragement. And I started getting all these messages and calls and voice messages from people I didn't know all around the world talking about how inspiring it was to see this energy. And I really kind of studied what I did myself because sometimes trusting myself comes from afterwards and looking at what I do because especially being a creative and a musician and a business owner, sometimes I'm on autopilot and this was one of the things I was just so proud of because diving is a meditation for me. Diving, this what you saw was literally the movement is intentional. Everything I did with my body, holding the pose I did, it was all a meditation, and it became another form of expression for me because I'm used to performing and singing, and this is another outlet, especially during the pandemic when I couldn't sing as much. So that's why diving happened for me. It's because singing and creating was kind of limited, and I found another form of expression, and that's what's important for us creatives. Just because we're an artist, just because we're something, there's so many different forms of expression that you might not know can help somebody. Because I had no clue I would help change somebody's life like they told me from a diving video. So I continued to dive into free diving. I continued to dive into free diving, but learning about free diving and actually studying it, what is free diving? Free diving is when you hold your breath, they call it apnea, and you dive in the water. Most of the time it's with a rope and a bodysuit and weights, and then what you saw I do with most of my videos are fun dives without that kind of a freedom of expression. But it's a very technical thing, and what it does for me, my first teacher, his name is Tanner Pedersen of Depth Wish in Florida, he taught us enlightenment through apnea. And I connected to that so much because I was already spiritual, and using freediving for enlightenment just became my whole life. But the technical aspects of freediving, something it's called MDR, mammalian dive reflex, when your water gets submerged, when your eyes get submerged and the sensors on your eyes get water in them, and then you hold your breath and then you dive deep. Something happens called MDR, and you go into your parasympathetic nervous system, which most people know that is where all the transformation happens. That's where you can really observe yourself. Your heart rate slows down, your spleen excretes fresh blood cells, and so many physical effects to diving that are so beneficial for you. And then the spiritual effects for me, which I'm so proud to share, is it's a meditation. And a lot of my gurus talk about how everything is a meditation. You're a walking meditation. I like to be a diving meditation. And just the ability to dive and go deep within the self. I mean, you have to. The places you have to go to actually stay alive while diving 100 feet down are the deepest places of myself I've ever encountered, even deeper than music. And I never thought I would find something that would give me as much joy and connect me to myself as much as music. So I'm so grateful for diving because it's a spiritual experience. Every dive is a meditation. And it helped me realize that being in the present moment is the most important thing in my spiritual journey. Especially having to be so present just to stay alive by free diving. Diving helped me solidify that I could be worthy of achieving anything. because I am me. Holding my breath helped me find the stillness just to be. And through mental health therapy and healing modalities like diving, I'm still learning how to integrate this into my everyday life. And even when most people, a lot of people have seen that I was on TV. I was on America's Got Talent. And the story I haven't really told about being on TV, which was such an amazing experience, but right before I went on, that's the moment. Like millions of people are about to see me, and I don't get nervous usually unless I'm speaking like today. But I don't get nervous usually, but I actually had a major panic attack right before I went on TV, filmed in front of all these celebrity judges and the big theater and then potentially the world. I had a major panic attack, and I haven't told this story much, and I should tell it more because the places I went, what I did actually to get through that moment, I actually went on a dive in my mind. And diving is my meditation, diving is my mantra, and so I had to close my eyes, and even the producers were like, "Hey, you gotta go on." I was like, hold on. So I went to my favorite place in my mind in Florida, and I just took a deep breath, and I held my breath like I was on a dive. And I went the whole dive in my mind. I went all the way down and just really practiced being peaceful and grateful in the moment. And then I came back up and I was like, okay, I'm ready. And that's how I got through that moment, which felt like the biggest moment of my life at the time, because I was like, I'm about to go out here and mess up because I'm literally having a panic attack. So really diving got me through that, and I'm so grateful to share that part of it too. So yeah, after television, I started traveling the world and performing all over the place. And I, honestly, even in this moment, I realized like I need to get back to diving. I've taken a break and I've come home to Virginia Beach to get back into the community more. But I'm really excited to get back into diving because after TV, my life got so crazy and I could feel myself, I'm like, okay, I need to go get back to the healing modalities I know too. Just finding balance, and it was hard for creatives. It's hard to find balance, but diving and really trusting that process of diving in the water and all the healing things that come with it helped me be okay, and I'm so grateful for it. But it really helped me realize that one of the biggest errors that I was creating for myself with all this anxiety in my head and not really looking for the stillness, but the stillness of diving helped me realize that all I have to do is just be, because that's all I do when I dive. I dive in the water and I let go of everything in my head, and I'm just me, no matter what. And being able to share that's so cool. But it reminded me of one of my favorite stories from college. Actually, I read this book called The Inner Game of Tennis by Timothy Galloway. My cello professor actually required us to read it because it talked about the different selves, self one and self two, and the relationship of how that helps you execute as a musician. And it was the tennis. But I didn't realize how good the book was until we got to this point in the book called about the rose. And the basic summary of it is, a rose is beautiful from every stage of the life. Most people, when they think about a rose, they think about a red rose. You say, oh, that's a beautiful rose. But when you pass this picture of a rose, this is a rose, and it's a bud, most people would say, oh, it's not a rose. Oh, that's cool. But really, what I've implemented into my life, and when I was a teacher, this was one of the biggest concepts for me. I wanted the students to feel like a rose from the bud to the bloom. And so when you pass this, look at that beautiful rose. Giving that energy to every stage of your learning, every stage of your struggle. You are a rose no matter where you are in your struggle. You're beautiful exactly where you are. And this is one of my biggest doctrines in my life. And that's something I definitely wanted to share today. So I thought the point of my existence was to make music and to be something for somebody, or to perform and be a certain way, and that's the only way I had value. But after I trusted the process and found the stillness, I realized that my purpose was just to be like the rose, just to grow and be. The very nature of my existence is just to exist. And because of this, I'm worthy. I'm worthy. And that's really what I do. That's really what I want to share with anything I create. I want to be that light. I want to be that for myself. So I encourage other people to be that. Is we are worthy no matter what part of your journey you're in. Remind yourself every day that you're divine and you're worthy no matter what the struggle throws at you. What does it look like for you to remind yourself? For me, it's music, it's diving, it's community, it's love, self-love, and being that for yourself. And so you encourage others to do that. I have a couple things I wanted to share to end tonight. I have a playlist that I literally listen to every morning, and it's called Daily Gratitude, and it helps me just remind myself. I pretend like it's 51st dates, and I reprogram my mind every morning that I am worthy. I trust the process, the gratitude. I'll share that playlist. It's called Daily Gratitude. It's on Spotify and Apple Music. And then also a couple mantras that I'd like to leave us with today. I am worthy because I exist. Can everybody say that?
I am worthy because I exist.
I trust the journey of finding my inner light.
I trust the journey of finding my inner light.
Namaste. Thank you, everybody.
Don't go anywhere. Okay? Step right over there. All right, real quick. I want to thank all of our supporters, and then we're going to do a quick Q&A. I think she had to step out to get to another meeting, but our Vice Mayor, Rosemary Wilson, was here today, and we really appreciate the City of Virginia Beach support. We thank the Vibe District, Brand Fuel, the Garage, our Cultural Affairs Office that provides critical funding for us to provide projects like this, coffee from 3 Ships, our Creative Mornings team for the snacks, and Prosperity Kitchen for that amazing breakfast pizza. And then Robert, if you come up and run a quick Q&A, if you need to scooch out to work, you can sneak out the door and we'll lift up the garage door in just 5 minutes. We would love to take a group photo, so please don't leave yet if you have a few minutes.
BJ, thank you so much. It was an absolute honor. We're really happy. So I'll start with one question. I'm sure we've got a bunch of them. Stillness, what an amazing concept. I think we're all searching for that. So you found that singing and you found that diving take you to that place of stillness. Some of us haven't found those things. I'm not a singer. I've never been underwater like that. How would you suggest those of us who are still search for that and find it?
Thank you. I would definitely suggest starting with the breath. The breath. Everybody take an inhale for 4 seconds. Inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. There it is. Right there. Start with the breath and then explore your own likes and wants, and it could be yoga, it could be meditation, it could be a walk on the beach, but everything can be a meditation depending on how you approach it with your own brain and letting go of all the things. But find something to let go. Find a way to let go, and that's where the stillness starts. And then get creative with it. Find something. It could be art, crochet.
Thank you. Okay, who's got some questions?
I just have a statement or something to say.
Good morning, BJ.
Good morning.
I just want to say thank you for putting yourself out there. It's very hard and difficult to express yourselves, even if you are a performer or you're in front of the public eye, and to let people in on your heart and your journey. So I just wanted to say thank you for sharing with us. I love you.
Who else has a question? Here we go.
How long can you hold your breath for?
I'm up to 3.5 minutes. It goes by quick.
That's And then how long do you feel like it took for you to, or maybe you never experienced this, but to get past I feel like diving would give you that sense of like anxiety at first when you're down there of like, oh God, am I gonna go back up? Do you feel like you hit a certain stage where you didn't have that feeling anymore?
Good question. Yeah, so when you're learning freediving, there's a block at 1.5 minutes. When you're holding your breath, most people that hold your breath, when you get to that point, you're like, I gotta breathe. It's actually not because you're out of breath. It's because it's your body's alarm system, the buildup of CO2 in your body. So that is the point I think you're talking about. There was this point of like, I couldn't get past it for a long time. It actually took me quite a while, a couple of years, to get past this 1.5 minute place because the place you have to go to calm your body down and tell yourself, hey, I'm okay. It's probably actually the strongest reason I freedive is because that place I had to go to get past that physical reaction and that mental place of letting go of the body. And I had to tell myself, it was a mantra. I was like, even though I feel like I have to breathe, I'm okay. I still have air. I took that concept and brought it to the rest of my life and all the challenges. So yeah, thank you for asking that. That's the most important thing about freediving is that one block.
I have the mic, so I'm going to ask a question. Do you have a moment that you could share where you have felt that all-encompassing oneness with everything? Because I feel like you've had one of those moments, whether it be freediving or on stage, like a notable one to share.
I had one in Mexico that I can't share, but what I will share